Elden Ring Nightreign got announced at the 2024 Video Game Awards, and immediately people had questions. Is it a real co-op game from FromSoft? And how much would it pull from Elden Ring's mechanics? What the dumb shit?
What the dumb shit? That was part 4. What the dumb shit? What the? Whoa! What the?
From when it was announced to when the beta went live, nobody really knew what this game was. You have a very powerful IP from one of the most powerful single-player game makers in the entire industry just show up to the show and speak vaguely and not give any gameplay. The marketing basically just came down to, it's Elden Ring. You guys like Elden Ring, right? Of course, their website said something like co-op survival game at the time, something along those lines. But at this point in the industry's evolution, that could mean anything. Risk of Rain 2, Left 4 Dead, friggin' Lethal Company. These can all be co-op survival games, but if you played even 2 of those 3, you know that they are very different. So after hesitantly positive reception to the beta, the game's launch, and even the game's first major updates, we know everything about the game. And I'll call the next, I'll say maybe couple minutes of the video, Nightreign Boot Camp.
Guys, would you believe me if I told you I haven't taken any damage yet? Alright, I took damage. Never mind.
You're fucking
Likely
God
story.
damn it, bro. You say a likely story?
Alright, first things first, you choose a character known as a Nightfarer. Each one has 2 abilities, 1 big ability, 1 little ability. You may also hear me refer to this as their kit. Each Nightfarer also has their own set of stats, affecting how much health they have, how much stamina they have, even down to how much damage a specific weapon type can do. For example, Revenant is a little doll girl that likes to use like a back scratcher for a weapon. I don't know what it is, but that's what it looks like. The Raider is a big man with big slam, and he would prefer to use something like a giant hammer. And you may lose some of that damage power that the hammer does when you give it to Revenant. Fortunately, even though you're losing some damage value, you gain value in just how fucking ridiculous this shit looks. I just imagine her forearms being like 20 inches around by the end of a run like this. Anyways, your Nightfarer of choice is dropped into a world called Limveld, and they are to hunt a Night Lord. Damn, that sentence made me feel like a nerd, bro. God damn. Before even getting into the run, you actually choose a Night Lord that will serve as the final boss of your run. Each run is broken up into 3 days. By the end of each day, the titular Nightreign will have shrunk into a circle, and you will fight a boss within that circle. Once the boss on day 1 is dead, the map will become available to you again, and the Nightreign will start closing anew. And you're flying in on day 1 on an eagle made out of Stormlight, and once you land and hit the ground, you are to start swinging at any and everything you can find. Killing things gives you runes, which can be taken to these lava lamps called Graces, and you can cash out all of your runes to level up your character. And leveling up your character just increases all of your stats in this game. In other Dark Souls games, you will have chosen like, I want more health, I want more stamina, I want more dexterity. But in this one, you just level up and it does all of it for you. Now that you know the basics, the main gameplay loop of the game is kill small things to level up, to kill big thing faster, and then kill biggest thing without dying at the end. And that's the end of Boot Camp. There's a lot more to the game, like shifting earth events and relics and whatnot. I'll get into some of that stuff later, but for now, that is all you need to know to get into the game, drop into Limveld, and start playing the game.
Yeah, why are you doing nothing?
Circle still
I
blazing.
did not want to walk. I did not want to walk there.
We should
Oh, you want to know what I think of the game?
I died of this fucking grab, bro!
I think it's great.
Fucking purple fucking shards up my ass out the ground.
It has such a satisfying gameplay loop, and everything makes sense.
That's the 3rd time he's done that bullshit, bro.
I don't think I have any complaints.
Why does this dude have 70 freaking lock-on points, bro? Fuck this game, bro! I will crash the fuck out, bro.
Chase?
Yeah, I just caught a fucking stray pot.
In all seriousness, this game has clicked with me way more than any other FromSoft game ever has. Maybe that's to be expected because I am a roguelike enjoyer, or maybe it's because it's not a single player game and playing with friends is always better. Could be a little bit of both. I don't know. All I know is that this is the most fun I've had playing a multiplayer game in a hot minute. So let's get into the nitty gritty a little bit more, shall we? All of the Night Lords in the game thus far are very cool and very unique. Each one demands that you play play around it in different ways. And to give context to that, I have not beat 2 of the Night Lords thus far. Fisher in the Fog and the Night Aspect I have not beat yet. I'm saying that the bosses are cool, but for all I know, those 2 are trash. Anyway, another little thing that I find really cool about which Night Lord you choose is that the boss pool for the end of day bosses changes with the Night Lord. So if you beat one Night Lord and immediately load into another run, say that Night Lord took you 4 hours to beat, you're not just fighting the same bosses you've been fighting for the last 4 hours. It shakes it up a little bit. One of the main criticisms that this game had coming out of the beta was not really a criticism, it was just the fact that people were skeptical on the replay value of this game. Are we gonna run out of things to do? Most people really liked the game when it was in beta. They really liked the idea, it was a lot of fun, but they were just worried about that replayability. And I'm happy to say that the replayability of this game has stood the test of time thus far. It's only been about a month, right? But even to me, like, I'm still having fun with it.
It's that fucking gray matter from Ben 10 with the
Bro, I've been saying that for days and nobody understands. Thank you.
I understand. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Oh, you never
The little
fucking
guy.
acknowledged it. I was like, I have to be the only one. Granted, I only have like 40 hours-ish in the game and other people are unemployed, but I mean, it looks like to me that they took a lot of care and did a lot of forward thinking when it comes to the replayability and the player experience. Something that you're gonna hear in this video a couple more times. And the boss pulls are just scratching the surface of that. Like, to me, looking at other aspects of the game, it feels obvious that FromSoft wanted people to at the very least, feel like they got their money's worth out of this game. Especially with stuff like the shifting earth and the relic system, like basically making it so no 2 runs are the same. Even the raids in the game, like Fell Omen or like the one that looks like an alien from Lilo and Stitch.
Oh wait, are they one guy now? They're me?
Chicken jockey. Sometimes the raids can like really help, and other times the timing of them is just awful. Like we had one pull up while we were in the middle of an Everjail fight. All of these things culminate into a game that I feel is not a game that is repetitive, but is a game that I am learning over time. You're not gonna learn everything in 20 hours in this game. I'm learning where different waypoints are. I'm learning how different boss moves interact with the surroundings. And I'm not saying that I think FromSoft adjusted these things around the feedback from the beta because there wasn't enough time. I'm saying I'm glazing right now. Part 2.5, monetization rant, let's go. Like, as somebody who had never played a FromSoft game past the first quarter of it, except for maybe Sekiro, they came out swinging with all of the goodwill in the world from me. Not because they're fresh off of Elden Ring, one of the biggest games of the decade, or because Dark Souls is my favorite game of all time, but because they are launching a AAA multiplayer game that is not a live service game. Like, who does that anymore? Like, on paper, the closest thing you're probably gonna get is fighting games, but even then I don't really count those in this situation because fighting games exist inherently off of multiplayer. In a world where any company can make any game they want and live service elements have to be jackhammered into it to appease investors, completely dashing any spark of emotional investment from your players before it even hits their systems, to completely go against that is not only dope, but it also draws a line in the sand saying, hey, we're just like you. We need money for downloadable content, but we're going to do it in the way that is more pure. We're going to do it how it was done back in the day, back when gaming was looked at in a more innocent and whimsical light, because we're better. We are you, just fucking better. All this to say, please give your flowers to the people who you think are doing it right. When's the last time you did that?
I grabbed him.
No,
He's
it's happening.
I grabbed him. As stated earlier, each character has their own kit and tech that makes them unique. My favorites are Wilder, Executor, and my absolute favorite is Ironeye. I want to talk about their kits a little bit because they are, in my opinion, the best when it comes to player expression in this game. But I will only be talking about these 3 kits because there is just too much to talk about in the game if I wanted to go through all of them. Starting with Wilder, his character ability is a grapple hook. Just in case you were worried that this game didn't come out after 2019, this grapple hook operates different than the one in Sekiro though, the one other grapple hook in recent memory that FromSoft has done. You can use it on most terrain as a movement option, which is really, really cool. I wouldn't say it's the best movement option in the game because I would probably give that to Ironeye. I'll talk about that in a second. It'll usually latch onto the floor about 10 feet in front of you if you don't have any enemies nearby. And if you do have an enemy nearby, it will just grapple you to them if they're big or them to to you if they're small. But I'll be honest, the ability to reposition as quickly as you can with this character in the heat of battle is really, really good. Especially fighting some of the Night Lords who have abilities that are huge and come out really fast. To be able to grapple hook to the side and be able to get out the way that fast is huge. And to me, no matter how you look at it, being able to get in, get out, evade quickly is like perfect for the character that has the most well-balanced stat spread in the game. That's not it though. Wilder's ultimate ability is probably my favorite ultimate in the game. It is a giant fire blast coming out of his little gauntlet thing. If you fully charge it up, you can res your teammates that are nearby, which is super pivotal.
I'm dead.
Get together, gamers. Get together.
Holy shit, he's gaming.
And if it hits an enemy, it's most likely going to stance break them. It's just another ability that hinges on the context of the battle to allow the player to use it how they please. So like, versatility is the name of the game when it comes to Wilder's abilities. Say it with me, folks. Player agency, yes. Next I want to talk about Ironeye, because Executor's a little different from these two, but Ironeye and Wilder kind of feel the same niche to me. Ironeye's ability is a dash. If you dash through an enemy, Ironeye uses his dagger to do a little bit of damage. The big property to this move though is that when Ironeye dashes through an enemy and does the dagger damage, they are marked. A marked enemy takes 10% more damage from everybody, as well as once a damage threshold is met, the marker will pop, doing a ton more damage and a ton of stance damage. So like when playing solo, this ability can carry you. Like all you do is mark them and then stay away from them, dealing damage with your bow and arrow until it pops, then you get a free riposte. It's kind of brain dead. And when you're playing multiplayer, it is way better. If you have a coordinated team, you can pop the marker before it even comes off of cooldown, making the relic that gives Ironeye 2 charges of his dash huge. It can be one of the most impactful relics in the game because you are just constantly giving your team more damage and doing more stance damage, making it so you can repost more often. It's just, if you have 2 charges of this ability and your team is popping them consistently, it's over. And if you have an Ironeye on your team and there isn't a marker constantly on the boss, that's just an L Ironeye, I'm sorry. It's not just the technical abilities that make this ability cool though. Like to me, Ironeye is my favorite character in the game because of the iframes that also comes with this ability. So not only does this ability do damage, but it also applies a debuff, and it's a great repositioning tool. And that's why I would argue that it is the best movement option in the game. Like the iframes on this ability make dealing with some bosses just straight up easy mode. Like take Gaping Jaw's grab, for example, right? Just go through him. You do damage, you are clear, you're safe because there's iframes, and you're re-upping your debuff on him. It's just good. And take that friggin' horse made out of rocks that has like star in its name or something. Like it has abilities that just charge at you a few times. Again, it makes that fight easy too. So like whether you're on the defensive or the offensive, this ability to me is the most fun ability in the game, and that's why I like the character so much. And it's for sure, again, like I said, in my opinion, the best movement option in the game because of all these things that come with it. Ironeye's ultimate ability is one big shot from his bow. It does a lot of damage, a lot of stance damage, and revives your teammates. And you may be thinking that's like the same as the Wilder one, but you said the Wilder's was your favorite. I just find this one to be more inconsistent than Wilder's. Like I feel like I have a handful of clips where both my teammates are down and I pop an ult and it'll get one of them but not both. And I would actually argue, as much as I like this character, I think it's my least favorite ultimate of these 3 characters that I like. Moving on to Executor. His character ability is he pulls out a cursed sword, letting him parry anything in the game. I don't know if that's actually true, but I've yet to find something that I can't parry. Hello, Editing Chase here. This is not true. Basically, the rule is any kind of physical attack you can parry. Don't try to parry a pot. Don't try to parry a fire. Don't try to parry your mom. Not only does he have a parry, but when you parry consecutively a couple times, the sword will start to glow. And when the sword glows, you get this new dash through move, which is really cool. It does a lot of stance damage, does quite a bit of damage too. But if you leave it glowing, you actually get a little damage boost from the cursed sword as it's glowing, which is cool. You know, having a buff of some sort, especially in the damage, is really cool. And you actually don't lose the gold charge when you put it away. So like you can just hold on to that the whole game if you wanted to. when you have it out during boss fights or something. Like, this ability is useful and it's alright, but I'll be honest, I don't think the shit's that cool. And like, the cursed sword doesn't get katana buffs. It doesn't count as a katana, so if you find some kind of buff after beating an Everjail or something, or you have a relic that buffs katana damage or something, it doesn't count for the cursed sword, which is a missed opportunity in my opinion. The Executor's ultimate ability sees him transforming into a wolf. He's showing his wolf side. He's just a giant dude that starts beating the shit out of everything, just going ham. The unintended consequences of this ability being in the game is that it ran up the numbers on Maroon 5's animals. Anyways, there are a few cool facets of this ability, mainly being that this dude just has his own entire moveset when he's in his ult. So every trigger and bumper button does something new. It does something different, which is really cool. And nobody else has like an install ult like this. And it's also a great ult to revive your teammates with. But the reason I like this character and why I describe him as different from the other two is that he's not movement based. Like, I don't like the way that Guardian feels too much. He is the stand still and block character. But also, if you go Raider and build poise the whole time, that's another option. But for someone like myself who likes to go fast, like, Executor's a great option for that. Like, the parry mechanic is a way for me to do the stand my ground and block everything and hold aggro for my teammates way of playing the game without, you know, neutering my dodge by playing Guardian or just almost exclusively punching things with Raider. On top of him building status ailments like a motherfucker, that's why he's like one of my favorites in the game. So now, character adjacent, let's talk about the skins a little bit, shall we? I find the skins in this game to be serviceable at worst and cool as fuck at best. Most of the Nightfarers' third skins are gas, hence why they cost so much. And most of them are just like a darker, edgier version or recolor that just kind of fit with the aesthetics of the game a little bit more. And obviously, I don't think anybody needs to be told at this point that FromSoft never really misses when it comes to medieval garb. Also, on the topic of skins, every single character has a skin for their remembrance. A remembrance is kind of the character's specific story to them within the game. Each one has a handful of steps, and once you complete so many, you get a skin for your character. And I have not seen the remembered skins, and I'm trying not to spoil myself on that, because eventually, ideally, I would have them all.
It's the dancer of the Boreal Valley? Look at her.
Oh, she's in the game.
She's beautiful. Oh my god. So far, I've talked about the characters, their kits, their cosmetics, but I've not talked about arguably the most customizable aspect of them, relics. The relic system is where most of the roguelike elements come into the game, and they are the things that let you modify properties of your character going into a run. For example, Wilder has a relic that adds a follow-up attack to his grapple hook ability. It is a bigger damaging attack, and it adds fire to his sword going forward for like the next 20 seconds or so. And each character has slots for relics that are broken up by color. So you can only put relics of that color into any given slot. And to get different color slots, you need to find different chalices. The vendor will have alternate chalices for every character at any given time, but you can also get alternate chalices through every character's remembrance. And I'll be honest, the relics and the chalices that you choose may make or break your run sometimes. Like a relic that makes your starting weapon do the type of damage that the Night Lord is weak to is a huge deal. Because sometimes your run may just get fucked by RNG and you will never find a weapon that does that type of damage during your run. So to have the one that you started with do that damage is huge. Correction. You will have some runs fucked by RNG from the jump. It's not a sometimes thing. I would say it's a more than sometimes thing. But that's just like most roguelikes. You know, sometimes you'll have a run that's like a god run from the start, and other ones that just seem like they're out to get you from the jump. But once you get a good solid set of relics and feel synergy with your character, you feel unstoppable. I don't know. I just think the relic system is really cool.
All we need to focus on right now is leveling up. We've got to get fucking big.
I'm feeling so fucking massive right now, dude. Shifting Earth is a mechanic that changes the actual map depending on which one is active. There are 4 Shifting Earth events in the game currently. There is Crater, Mountaintop, the Shrouded City, and the Rotted Woods. Each Shifting Earth event has a different way you need to approach it, as well as different benefits you get for conquering it. Like for the Crater, you need to fight your way deeper underground, fighting layers and layers of enemies, culminating into a fight with a magma worm. So not only are you leaving this place with a ton of runes, but you are also able to, as a reward for beating the magma worm, upgrade any weapon you want to a legendary status, upgrading its damage, for free, which is a huge boon when you're about to fight the Night Lord. And I personally think that the Crater is my favorite shifting earth, given the ratio of like reward to bullshit you have to put up with. For example, that ratio being a little bit more skewed in the bullshit way. The Rotten Forest is probably my second favorite, but some of the bugs attacks are crazy. Like it's actual bullshit how fast it is and how undodgeable some of it is. But when you get to the core of the forest, you get a new passive that makes you immune to Scarlet Rot, which is a debuff that is applied to you constantly just for being in the vicinity of the Scarlet Rot Forest. So now in the Scarlet Forest, there are a ton of field bosses that you can go and just fight without having to worry about the Scarlet Rot being a constant debuff on you. This also leads you to a ton of runes. I'm pretty sure I saw a speedrun where all 3 players got to level 15 and still had 100,000 runes left over doing this. It seems like a very good strategy, but my friends and I have not been able to do it that way because we cannot stay focused.
I just fucking know we're gonna get distracted.
Nah, we gotta lock in. No distractions, guys. Church, castle. Church, castle. Oh, there's an encampment here. Let's do that. Gaining the buff from the Scarlet Forest is also dope because it increases your max HP, which is also a great boon no matter what you're doing after the forest. Now for the mountaintop, it gives you frost resistance as well as reduced frostbite damage, but the major gains come from killing frost giants, which are usually in numbers up here. There's also dragons, like frost dragons, like walking around up in the mountain, but we just kind of avoid them because who the fuck likes fighting dragons in this game? If I'm being honest, I don't love the mountaintop. That BS to reward ratio is kind of, you know, it's not perfect. I still try to do it if I see it on the map though. I still try to make a point to at least get something out of it, but it's probably my least favorite that I've done. Now the fourth and last one is basically a giant castle or like a city or something. It takes up like a third of the map. It's insanely huge. Now I don't know what this castle does or what treasures lie inside because I've not seen it, and I don't want to spoil it for myself. You may say L YouTuber for that, but also W Gamer, right? That was cringe. That was really cringe. Ooh, that felt gross, dude. That felt bad. I'm not, nah. This dude's still aggro on me.
Where are you?
Right behind you. I'm still getting fucking purple fucking shards up my ass out the ground, bro. Now, I've thrown a lot at you today, and I hope I've entertained you at least a little bit. I do genuinely believe that this game is great, even though it's technically an asset flip. But asset flip or not, I do think FromSoft did an amazing job thinking ahead for the player experience. Like, if you were to try to explain this game to me a year ago, I probably would have just said, nah, there's no way they can pull that off and make it fun at the same time. Like in my mind, I probably would have thought the game is either going to be too easy or way too hard. Like all of the bosses would just be overtuned. I feel like there's nothing else I can really say here. You know, I feel like they stuck the landing if the goal was to make a fun game. Leading me to why. Why was this game in my challenge? Well, it's as simple as this. The goal with the challenge is to feel joy and whimsy again with gaming. This game, however, made me feel that way. It gave me the feeling that I've been chasing for 6 months, which led me to a realization. It's not that games never give me this feeling now. It's just that multiplayer games give me that feeling way more than single player games ever did. And that's basically the reason why I basically never can finish a single player game. I mainly stick to multiplayer and roguelikes. I suspect I will forever love this game for helping me get to that realization. And when I look back at this year and look at this challenge and feel how proud I am of myself, you know, kind of sticking with the consistency of it and like really seeing it through, I'm gonna feel like this game was missing if I didn't include it. I would look back on the year and think, what a great year, I had a great time, but one of the games that changed me the most would be missing from my list of games I made videos on. Anyways, thank you for coming to see me on my soapbox. I really hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you so much for watching it. It means more than you know, especially if you made it this far. I mean, we're at the end now. Dude, you stuck through all of it, all of my BS. Thank you. Yeah, I guess I'll just see you next month.
Hello.